This Rockets season has been so much fun. Take a look at where they are in the standings. They're 32-14 and have a chance to sweep the second place team in the Southwest Conference, the Memphis Grizzlies, who they lead by a game and a half tomorrow night. But there's a specific fan group that needs all the chill pills within Red Nation, unless they want to be remembered as the worst faction of sports fans in the history of Houston. Also on today's show, there's been a ton of NFL press conferences this week with brand new coaches being introduced across the league. I'm going to give them yearbook-style superlatives. And on top of all of that, I will tell you how little old me became a powerful ally to the Swifties. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is the Gallant Says podcast.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people wonder.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to say.
Grow up, mother. You kidding me?
Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast live at youtube.com/Paul Gallant, twitch.tv/Gallant Says, on Twitter /X @Gallant Says, Instagram @Sports Gallant, facebook.com/Paul Gallant Sports, Monday through Friday, and occasionally after major Houston sporting events. I wanted to start this thing off at 4. New Orleans Saints fans, you better pat me on the back at the end of this episode, because all the vitriol that you want towards your general manager, I will deliver it. This podcast is available also after the fact wherever you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, and on SoundCloud. See this over here? If you want me to blab and talk with you right away, and I will get to all of your chats, what you do is you pay me money, bribe me. And if you do it, guess what? I will play this sound effect.
Paul, stop talking. Listen.
Of former Houston Texans guard Wade Smith telling me to shut up in the middle of a segment once over at the Texans flagship, and I'll answer your question. But you gotta pay me, okay? I will eventually get to your comments, though. This is just if you want me to address them. If you guys want to talk with each other right there, you can. YouTube can talk to Twitch. Twitch can talk to X. X can talk to Facebook. Instagram, you're shit out of luck. You can't even see the chats, but I will read your chats as well, which you can now see. Last night, I didn't watch all of the Rockets and Hawks game. I'll admit it. It's a game where I thought to myself, second night of a back-to-back. Rockets are playing a sub-500 Eastern Conference team. If they get a win, I'll be happy. They're going to be tired after the effort they put in to that awesome victory, 114-112, that they had over the Boston Celtics on Monday. They held on for dear life last night in a 100-96 win over the Atlanta Hawks, a game where they led fairly convincingly in the middle of the third quarter after taking a while to get going, but nearly blew at the very end. There was a Hawks player who shot a three, clanked off the front iron, bounced back, and hit the top of the backboard. That's really all I wanted to talk about from last night's game, because how much stock do you put into a team that clearly is worn out on the second night of a back-to-back? You could tell that they were tired. They were doing dumb stuff over the course of the game. I like that Ime Udoka pushed them and made sure that they finished things out, but I don't think there's a lot to take away from a game like that as opposed to a game like the one that they played against the Boston Celtics on Monday, especially in the midst of an 82-game season. You might have seen earlier today that Adam Silver, NBA commissioner, had said that they actually might cut down the NBA regular season. I'm shocked that we're hearing that, but he's not talking about it from a games perspective. He's talking about it from a minutes perspective. I think they're going to shrink quarters to 10 minutes. What is this? Women's college basketball? Anyway, as I was watching that game last night, I noticed on my For You on the hellscape known as Twitter, that there are a lot of people who were angry about a moment that happened early in the third quarter. Alperen Şengün got sent to the bench. And look, was it because Ime Udoka was frustrated with him? Maybe. Was it because Ime Udoka knew he needed to manage Şengün's minutes? Maybe. But the biggest babies in the Houston Rockets fan base took it personally. Who am I talking about? Who else but the psychotic Alperen Şengün stans, who I feel like, to be frank, are meow. You guys need to get over yourselves, and you need to get over the idea that this Rockets team is Alperen Şengün's meal ticket to being a superstar and to living up to what Ime Udoka had said about Alperen Şengün about 10 days ago. Here he is, I think this is after a Rockets game, comparing Şengün to a certain favorite athlete of most Americans.
Obviously, all the losing they did before I got here, and I'm seeing some success now. So, for the most part, I think he handles it well. He's Michael Jordan in Turkey.
He's Michael Jordan in Turkey.
Based on what my coaches said when they walk around with him in the summer. So, I think he has a lot more when he goes home, and he's kind of used to it now.
And look, good for Şengün. And for all the people from Turkey who look up to Şengün like he's the second coming, good for you. It's awesome to have an athlete from your hometown that's playing at the highest level, who's a really good player. I mean, he does things that maybe only Nikola Jokic can do at his size. And Jokic is right now putting together one of the best seasons we've seen in NBA history. But when Şengün gets benched, I regularly see this from a certain faction of, I'm not even going to say Houston Rockets fans. I'm just going to call them psychotic Alperen Şengün stans. And it generally gets posted to Rockets Twitter, which is a community on X. I'm just going to show you a couple of them. One of them is gone. It was deleted. Here is another. This is from Aristoteles in Eli. A caption reads, "Bleep this disrespect! Enough!" Showing Şengün walking off the court with the Rockets down 3 with 10:03 to play in the third quarter. But there were more. Here's another post on X from someone, I imagine, that is Turkish. I don't see race. I don't see nationality. I do see some weird accent things that I do not understand. Hey, everyone's got different alphabets. But said, Kubale Ozisish, and if I'm butchering your name, I apologize, sir. I don't believe Udoka is a good coach for Alpi. He lost his creativity totally. He should consider a trade. Huh? They just gave him that contract this offseason. He's not a good coach for Alpi. I think every single player on the Boston Celtics would tell you that this guy is the perfect coach to have as a young player. Jason Tatum specifically. Here's another psycho Alperen Şengün stan. This guy's the absolute worst. He is at Sardun Yaya. We have gone back and forth before. Even Tate or other role players are not punished as much as Şengün on this team. And the main players who make many more mistakes than Şengün are rewarded on the contrary. This nonsense has already crossed the line from harsh coaching to disrespect. So say this guy's right. I think hard coaching means that the guy that's coaching you cares. And maybe this does backfire on Ime Udoka a couple of years down the line. But I want Ime Udoka to get under the skin of the best players on this team. And I really think that we've seen over time Şengün get better about pouting and getting down and getting mad at the referees over the course of a game. I think the Ime Udoka effect has been seen in Jalen Green's development and in Alperen Şengün's development. And you take a look at that and you got to think to yourself, okay, well, maybe he needs more of this coaching. But for whatever reason, a lot of these Rockets fans / Alperen Şengün psycho stans feel like he's being singled out. And one of the things this group does often is they point out xenophobia and racism. I find that ironic given Turkey's history. Armenian genocide. Also take a look at their books during the Holocaust and the Jews that they shipped back to Germany. That's just a history lesson. Maybe the dictator of Turkey, Erdogan, I think that's how you pronounce his name, doesn't allow you to see back in time. I know that they deny the Armenian genocide. I'm sure they deny the Holocaust too. That's xenophobia. That's racism. Sarcastic comments made on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 like this on the bench at some point last year. This isn't that. In case you didn't hear it, this is John Granado, Lance Zierlein, and Del Olaye. Damn it, I butchered his name. Sorry, Del. Talking about Alperen Şengün and the war of words that was taking place between some Jalen Green stans and Alperen Şengün stans. I got to say, if you've ever gone on Twitter and seen any of them, generally, they got very, very racist. And there was only one faction of these two groups who was calling the other faction a monkey. So, John and Lance and Del were talking about this one day, and it led to some sarcastic comments. And that Sartayunga guy clipped this together, took out the context, clearly missed the sarcasm, and claimed that this was an affront on humanity. In case you've missed that clip, here it is. You can watch along on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Giant point is that big Turkish stiff is out of the way.
No, and you heard what he said.
And now Jalen Green can play his game.
He's not, we're not going to call him big Turkish stiff.
That's what I'm
Basically,
calling him.
you're taking a shot at Jokic, too.
No.
So basically, Del was saying that this is what a lot of online Alperen Şengün super stans are getting pissed off about, because that's what Jalen Green stans were calling him. The big Turkish stiff, because he's getting in the way of Jalen Green driving through the lane, scoring points. More of this clip.
No, he's not Turkish.
If Jokic was out, what would happen?
Jokic is not Turkish.
Okay.
Sounds
and we know
Murray would have to step up.
No, we know what happens with the Nuggets when Jokic is out. They're not very good. When that stiff is off the floor, the Rockets can play to the way they should play, and all of a sudden they're great. That 5-out thing, get that clogger out of the middle. Stop. You don't have to feed.
So they get to keep playing the Wizards?
You don't have to feed Landale. He gets his scraps, babies. He's destroying other teams because big stiff. I'm going to call him Big Stiff.
No, we're not calling him Big Stiff. That name's not sticking.
Oh, my God.
Big Stiff is out of here, and Jalen can thrive.
I will
give him more usage. You get that weird European dude off the floor, and he can go to work.
I will say this about that.
And that's not even a good part of Europe. It's Turkey.
So then they started having jokes about Turkey. Listen, we're Americans. We do that. Does that mean that we look down on all of you? I have no comment on that. What I will say is, in this situation, I don't think anything bad was said. I don't think anything racist or xenophobic intentionally was said. I really don't. I know some people might have taken that way if Southern Union is putting this clip out there without any context. But Dell's being sarcastic, talking about what Jalen Green fans were saying about Alperen Şengün. They called him the big Turkish stiff. And it led to a back and forth on X between both of these factions. And goddamn, I'm just tired of these people. Get over yourselves with any comments or criticism of Şengün. Why is he above everybody else on the Houston Rockets, the sacred cow? We still don't know who's going to be the better player when their career plays out between Şengün and Green? We still don't know that. We hope that someday Şengün could be Jokic. I'm skeptical that Jalen Green's going to live up to his potential. I'm really skeptical of that. I feel like he's going to be like a six-man best case scenario elsewhere, but he's made some progress here. But I just hate how fucking sensitive these guys are. It's specifically the Alperen Şengün super fans who, like, I think are the most toxic Rocket fans that there are, and they just constantly whine and cry and complain that Şengün's being mistreated. And I think it's fucking pathetic. And in the words of Ozzie Guillen, who told me this during my first day ever interviewing anyone related to baseball.
You fucking grow up, motherfucker. Are you kidding me?
Grow the fuck up. If Şengün wants to be the best player he can be, he's in the best possible spot with Ime Udoka as his head coach. Moments where Şengün gets benched and ends up playing 29 minutes on a night where Amen Thompson, coming off of that amazing game he had Monday against the Celtics, plays 31. Maybe it lends itself to, I don't know, Şengün having the legs at the end of the game to break away and get that dunk to ice the fucking game. Just a thought. But you guys are so fucking into yourselves and everything's racist and xenophobic. And honestly, it makes me think that a lot of you Şengün super fans are pussies. I am tired of seeing you online. I am tired of seeing you on my For You, constantly crying and whining about poor little Alperen Şengün. This team has the second best record in the Western Conference. They have the lead in the Southwestern Division over Memphis. Yes, by just a game and a half, but they could potentially sweep Memphis on Thursday. They're playing awesome. They're 9-2 since Amen Thompson entered the starting lineup. They have the most steals per game since that happened. They have the best, second best three-point percentage in the NBA since that happened. They are kicking ass right now. And you guys are bitching and moaning because Şengün is getting benched in the middle of the third quarter, acting like he's being disrespected. Again?
You fucking grow up, motherfucker. Are you kidding me?
Grow the fuck up. It's fucking pathetic. Thank you. It has me wondering, and you guys can join me here in the comments section on YouTube or Twitch. YouTube at Paul Gallant. Twitch at Gallant Says. Facebook.com/Paul Gallant Sports. On Twitter and on Instagram. What is the worst sports cult in Houston right now? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from it. Please tell me. I'm going to give you a couple. The current cults, the ones that still exist. The one that drives me the most crazy right now, and there's some members of the Houston sports media who were like this not too long ago. I think the people that constantly deflect blame from CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans are a bit of a cult. I really do. Getting mad at me for questioning whether or not D'Amico Ryans will ever be one of the best head coaches in the NFL after his second season, a second season where the Texans constantly made the same mistakes game in, game out. You guys thought that was out of bounds? What if it was a white guy? It did feel race-related. And I've seen this defense at all costs of C.J. Stroud before, who did have a down year, sophomore slump. Texans commentator, like, you're bringing up passing yards to say he's not having a slump. I think he would even admit that he had a slump. That's why Bobby Slowick's gone. Hopefully, it wasn't all on C.J. Stroud, and Bobby Slowick being gone and the next offensive coordinator is going to fix everything. But there's a lot of people that are defending C.J. Stroud irrationally that did the same fucking shit with Deshaun Watson when he was quarterback here. He did the same stuff. People got mad at me when I, back in 2018, asked if Texans fans are afraid to admit that Patrick Mahomes is better than Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry that I know ball. Sorry. Grew up watching the Patriots. I have the sight. But I saw it first, highlighted it. Y'all got pissy. still young in his career. Like, no, let's just live in the now and stop talking about what things could be. Right now, D'Amico Ryans needs to get better. Right now, CJ Stroud needs to get better. The few people that believe the Astros are innocent, well, they weren't innocent. I feel like the people that are still mad about justice not coming down on the rest of baseball for sign stealing, it's time to get over it. It is time to get over it. I get it. It sucked. But people are starting to be a little bit less vocal in their anger towards the Astros. They're starting to direct it towards the Dodgers. Yankees did stuff. Dodgers did stuff. But don't act like the Astros didn't do anything, okay? Right? Like, they did something. What you should do to piss off people, and if you want to be the heel sports fan, which some of you don't seem to want. Some of you guys want to be liked by everybody. You know who is liked by everybody? The fucking Lions. You know who's liked by everybody? To a degree. The Cubs before they won a World Series. The Red Sox were before they won. You don't want to be loved. If you're loved, the Buffalo Bills. Everyone loves the Buffalo Bills. They're so cute. Oh, no, it's the playoffs. We're fucking out again. You need to, I think, really take a step back and wonder, as a fan of any sports team, if you want everybody to like you, because it generally means that you're harmless. Patriots fans look at Bills fans and we think they're cute. Oh, look at their little dynasty. Oh, all these AFC East titles that they won. Oh, they didn't get to win Super Bowl. Oh, man. Oh, they couldn't beat Patrick Mahomes once in the playoffs. Oh, man. You don't want to be liked as a sports fan base. Cults that I remember in town, Jeremy Lin, when he first came here, I wasn't expecting him to continue what he did in New York. I was hoping he'd be a solid player. And look, I think he was a solid player. I think he was. But Patrick Beverley was better. And I saw that immediately. And there are a lot of Jeremy Lin fans who were doing some of the same stuff that the Alperen Şengün stans are doing. Annoying sports cult. Other bad sports cults. The Texas A&M Aggies. Yeah. But I don't really need to go into that, right? At least they're nice. Penn State. That's a cult. Look at the way that they got pissed at anyone who would say, hey, wasn't Joe Paterno in charge of all of that? Wasn't that Joe Paterno? Huh. They got so mad at anyone who pointed to Joe Paterno and said, like, hey, maybe he should have been aware of Jerry Sandusky, and maybe he should have listened to the testimonies of people on his staff that were telling him about what Jerry Sandusky was doing. But he supposedly didn't, blah, 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 blah. And then when Joe Paterno went down, after Jerry Sandusky went down and they brought down the statue, these people went fucking militant online. And before all of this happened, I remember there was a Penn State-Syracuse game once. One of my buddies was making out with a girl in the middle of the street outside of Watson Hall on University Place at Syracuse. And I guess this girl had made out with a guy wearing a Penn State jersey after Penn State skull-fucked Syracuse a little bit earlier. And he kept on saying, sloppy seconds, sloppy seconds. And we laughed and we're like, who cares, dude? Like, you ain't with it anymore. You ain't going any further here. He came up to us with that Penn State jersey on and he pulled out a switchblade knife and said, yo, I'm from Philly. That's Penn State in a nutshell. Do Alperen Şengün stans want to become that eventually? I get it. He's from Turkey. You might live in Turkey or you're Turkish. But let's roll back the psychotic nature with which you guys defend Şengün and then attack anyone who does anything that gets in the way of him becoming a star. You know what helps you become a star? Being on a winning basketball team. The Rockets are 32-15. So,
You fucking grow up, motherfucker. You kidding me?
there you go. All right, guys. A lot of hires across the NFL, the head coaching cycle, but let's read some comments. A lot of Twitches to go through. Matthew A. asks this question.
You fucking grow up, motherfucker. You kidding me?
I pressed the wrong button. He didn't ask that. Matthew A. says,
Paul, stop talking. Listen.
the Rockets are balling out right now, and this is what they focus on, which is nuts. I agree. If you're winning, enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Like, the Rockets are doing more winning than I'd imagine Turkey's basketball team ever does. I'll be honest, I don't really care about international basketball. No American does. Basically, for us, we're always of the mindset of, oh, did we not win the whole thing? Oh, fuck. That's one of those things where, like, that's the only time we really pay attention to international basketball. And you can call that xenophobic. I just call it arrogance, and that's what we do in the United States of America, okay? We think we're better than everything. But, like, this is the best Şengün's ever going to do from a winning perspective. Is he going to win Euro Cup? The Basketball World Cup? No. Like, maybe they get bronze. So do you care about that, or do you care about Şengün getting an NBA championship? I'd imagine everybody in Greece was pretty thrilled when Giannis Antetokounmpo won his first championship, you know? Man. The usual suspects from Twitch, the ESPN 97.5ers. I appreciate the art that you guys are posting. It is making it a little difficult to get through all the comments, though. What do we have here? Chris G says, I like Şengün. He seems like he's willing to learn and play defense, but he needs to work on his offensive game and develop something that's not just an inside the paint move. I'm with you there. Cooper TX says Şengün is like Pau Gasol. No, I think he's bigger and more physical. What other comments do we have that have to do with Alperen Şengün? Rick the Ruler 713 says the Jalen Green fans and Şengün fans are going back and forth over these last two guys for like 3 years now. I know, it's funny. And the best part is like, Amin Thompson's going to overtake both of them. I think that was pretty apparent from when Thompson first stepped into the starting lineup. My God, that guy's good. G says Alpy versus JG. Now the fans are doing it with Amin. Can we just let them grow and get better, please? Well, listen, the problem is I think a lot of Rockets fans have been conditioned to believe that it's all about the star that you have. And take a look at what Daryl Morey did for all those years, trying to acquire stars. He gets James Harden, who becomes an incredible player. It was a great risk by Daryl Morey. He gets Dwight Howard. Eventually, they bring in Chris Paul. They tried to bring in a lot of other stars along the way. I think that this city became obsessed with building a team where you get some stars and you figure out the rest later, which a lot of the NBA was doing, instead of just slowly building a team. And that's why I love the Boston Celtics. You know, first they had the big three where there was no one that was bigger than the team. They all had to sacrifice with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. And what you have with the current Celtics is a bunch of young guys who grew up together. I hope that the Rockets do that they all embrace each other, and that people don't want to go off and do their own thing like a band that eventually breaks up. I'm not getting enough credit. So there you go. King of all Twitch, I am not censoring you guys. There's just so many goddamn comments. The Twitch is like doing comments at a like 3-1 rate versus our YouTubers, okay? But if you stay on topic, I'll get to some of the stuff you say. So, Alperen Şengün, please stands one more time.
You gotta fucking grow up, motherfucker. You kidding
I'm just
me?
telling you guys to grow up. That's all. Cooper, Texas says, I see you took my advice and shaved your arms. These are not shaved. These are not shaved. What are you talking about? Okay. There's been a lot of NFL head coaching hires over the last couple of weeks. There's been press conferences attached to it. And the reason that this show started so late is that I was grabbing clips from all of those press conferences. But I thought, after looking at all these press conferences and listening to what some people are saying, the coaches, the owners, I would give every single one of these introductory press conferences a superlative, kind of like what you would get in high school. So let's start off with the New York Jets. The New York Jets won this week of introductory press conferences. I don't think there's any debating it. Aaron Glenn, who played for the last great Jets team, the 1998, 1999 Jets team that had a 10-0 lead on the Denver Broncos, the eventual Super Bowl champions. in the AFC Championship game. It was to be a repeat Super Bowl champion. Opened up his press conference with this banger of a line.
Players that's here now, put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. Listen, there are going to be some challenges, but with challenges becomes opportunity, gets opportunity. But here's what I do know.
I don't know what challenges begets opportunity meets opportunity, but Glenn's about to land the plane. He's about to land the jet.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Should have said fuck, but continue. Hear those Jets media in the background. I don't know if that was a reporter, if that was just some fan standing by who says, ooh, yeah, and you hear a couple of claps in the background. Let's hear that one more time.
Listen, I want this job. I interviewed for a number of them, but I wanted this job.
Aaron Glenn made the most sense of any possible Jets head coach from the beginning. And while I want Jets fans to consistently suffer and be miserable, this is a great way to get people engaged on a level that they haven't been since Rex Ryan was the head coach. Rex Ryan was fun. And it's not to say that you need Aaron Glenn to be fun, but you do need somebody to swing their dick around a bit in New York. And that's what he's doing at that press conference. I will say, though, sometimes you got to call out crimes when they happen. Because, gentlemen, our friend Jake Asman has tried to pull a crime upon those poor, hopeless New York Jets fans. Did you see the shirt that he's trying to sell to Jets fans? These are $30 fucking. Jake. This is robbery. $30 for this? Look at this. It's a shirt that says, we're built for this shit. I mean, but like, that's it? Look at this. $30? Is this Balenciaga? Unbelievable. So, I felt the need to notify the authorities when I saw this. Okay? Because sometimes you got to narc on your friends. I get it. There's some people who think that's wrong, who think that's bad. But personally, if I see somebody trying to take advantage of the poor, crackhead-esque Jets fans of the world, you got to do it. So I alerted the New York Police Department, the FBI, and the New York FBI about this attempted robbery by Jake Asman. And then yesterday on the Gallant and George radio show, which you can hear noon to 3, ESPN 97.5 and 92.5, I had to take Jake down.
But the man is
a peg or two. Here is me.
The man is
clip
attempting
of myself, and then pressing the audio button too quickly a couple of times
to rob his fan base blind. He has put out some of the worst shirts I have ever seen in my life, and he is trying to pawn these on these hopeless crack addicts who are still somehow, some way addicted to the loserdom that is New York Jets football.
They're $30.
They're $30.
I thought if this was going to cost me $60 before shipping, I might have bought one for each of us. Get each color taken care of. We can all wear them one day. $30?
Sean, get it ready. Sean, please get it ready. For sake, Jake. These are some of the worst shirts I've ever seen.
Can you text them if we can get a discount?
$30?
When do they go on sale?
You are robbing your hopeless crack addict fans blind, Jake. Good God. I like that Jets fans live in misery, but this is a step too far, Jake. This is a step too far. This is a crime. Shame on you.
I mean, look, man, if you can steal from suckers, you steal from suckers. Like,
that's
the New York way.
An absolute
or the Jersey
crime.
way, whatever you want to call it.
Anyway, we wish Jake well.
And we do wish Jake well. You can get dog bandanas on the website for $15. Dog bandanas. Summer's saying $30 in New York City is a Big Mac. I don't know what Topo Chico Child is saying. You're really hanging me out to dry. Topo Chico, did you spend some moolah here? I didn't see that. Gotta pay the troll toll, don't you see? Anyway, listen. Let's get back to the press conference. I just had to stand in there and make sure that Jake Asman doesn't get away with the attempted robbery of New York Jets fans. Here is Aaron Glenn answering a question about the future of Aaron Rodgers. Jets owner Woody Johnson said that the new head coach of the Jets is going to decide who the next head coach is. Here is the head coach of the New York Jets dealing with the New York liberal media.
Will Aaron Rodgers be your quarterback?
You're going to continue to ask me the same question. I'm going to get the same answer. We're still in evaluation mode. So for anybody else going to ask that, I'm going to give you the same answer. So don't waste your time. We're clear.
Well, let's answer. What do you look for in a quarterback? Like, what's an Aaron Glenn quarterback?
A winner. A winner. Mental and physical toughness. When you talk about that, you're not going to get me.
Well, let me ask you this. Parcells over. I know you guys.
I know Parcells. I know. Hey. Let me talk to you about the old days of the New York Jets. Let me talk to you about Joe Namath. Remember Joe Namath? The time he went up to Susie Colbert in the middle of an NFL game and tried to feel her up? Susie, I guess, yeah. So that's how he's handling getting the same question over and over again day one. But I doubt that this is going to keep New York media from asking the same fucking question over and over again. It's very competitive up there in New York. But I think Aaron Glenn, of all the head coaches that had introductory press conferences, I think he won the day. So I'm giving him the honorary superlative of most likely to get their crackhead-esque fan base to jump back on the bandwagon. Congratulations. Congratulations to Aaron Glenn for winning that award. I mean, and shit, the Jets kept on winning. The owners being humble. Woody Johnson, who truly fucking idiot when it comes to owners, he admitted that the Jets need him to be a better owner. Yeah, no shit. But hey, at least you acknowledge that. I do hope that Brick, his son, continues to be a part of the organization. I don't know how many people saw this and appreciate the super chat, Topo Chico.
Bro, stop talking. Listen.
Do you have a question? Ask the question. I'll get back to it in a moment. Here's Brick Johnson, Woody's son, giving a speech while giving Garrett Wilson a game ball and then posting it to Instagram. This year on Halloween night, a Texans-Jets game. The Jets registered their first victory since Robert Saleh's firing 4 weeks earlier. It was a significant moment for a struggling team. Rodgers walked into an energized locker room with a game ball in hand and was expected to give the ball to Ulbrich, a customary gesture when a coach gets his first NFL win. But before Rodgers could speak, Brick Johnson, his name is Brick, that's his son, took another game ball and awarded it to wide receiver Garrett Wilson in a profanity-laced exclamation, which the owner's son later posted to Instagram. I asked Jake Asman for the copy of this, and Jake defended him, Bobo to the max. Woody Johnson then gave Ulbrich the game ball that Rodgers had been holding. Multiple players said the energy felt drained out of the room. It was the most awkward, cringeworthy, brutal experience, one player said. There you go. So I hope Rick Johnson's involved so that all this goodwill for the New York Jets goes straight down the toilet. People are asking what my Venmo is. Matthew A is saying, do you keep more money on Twitch or YouTube? Truly, I don't know. I'm still figuring out how both of these things work. I'm trying to make this live stream happen on a daily basis. The goal is to start at 4 o'clock. Clearly today we did not do that because I went a little bit overboard getting audio and video clips as we go through NFL head coaching superlatives. So that's the New York Jets. I don't have any highlights from Mike Vrabel's press conference. Honestly, I just want to move forward with the New England Patriots. I saw this article in The Athletic. I just saw the title of it. It has been bookmarked in one of the tabs on my computer for 20 days, and I just don't want to read it. by Chad Graff. Inside Gerard Mayo's disastrous season with the Patriots, I just don't think he was ready. As someone who listened to Boston Sports Talk Radio during the season and to all conversations about my favorite team, the New England Patriots, God, it was a mess. I mean, they had their 12th choice at offensive coordinator in Alex Van Pelt. Gerard Mayo supposedly became the front runner to be the next head coach of the Patriots after he went on a retreat to Israel with Robert Kraft. Supposedly, there might have been some funny business behind the scenes where Mayo was perhaps angling to take over for Bill Belichick. And then this year was a mess where Mayo said he was going to be a player-friendly coach, that he wasn't going to be coy with the media, but instead, at the very beginning, he called the players soft. He backtracked on calling them soft. He didn't seem to have much of a plan of action. I get why some people are saying, hey, they fired a black head coach after 1 year. Classic Boston. So I will give the New England Patriots this superlative for their head coaching press conference that I didn't watch. Most likely to cause defensive, we aren't racist arguments when the process of hiring him is brought up. And I said that incorrectly. We aren't racist, dude. We ain't racist, kid. Yeah, Gerard Mayo was a fucking loser. Mike Vrabel's a winner. Like that. That is a superlative that the Patriots get. I don't think that they subverted the Rooney Rule. I feel like other teams were doing the same thing where they were interviewing sham candidates when they were actually going after one guy specifically. The Chicago Bears did that with Eddie George, I thought, on a Sunday right before they announced Ben Johnson was going to be the head coach. The problem was the Patriots announced that they were going to interview both Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton at the same time, then asked for an interview with Aaron Glenn, and Glenn turned them down. They wanted Vrabel the whole time. If you want a specific coach the whole time, do you have to do the song and dance? I suppose that the argument Bomani Jones made about interviewing Leftwich and interviewing Pep Hamilton puts them back in the conscious of football teams all over the place, and that ultimately that was the goal of the Rooney Rule, was to give these guys opportunities in some way, shape, or form. I do think, calling the Patriots racist is just fun for some to do because they were successful for a while, and people generally don't like people from Boston, which is not exactly the best when it comes to race relations historically. But anyway, that's all we'll do for the Patriots and their introductory press conference superlative. How about the Seattle Seahawks? Just kidding. Whenever I think Pete Carroll, I think of the Seattle Seahawks. How about the Las Vegas Raiders? Well, this is a superlative that the Las Vegas Raiders get. Most likely to make the Mount Rushmore of their team this century by merely showing up to their introductory press conference. That's Pete Carroll. Congratulations. Congratulations to Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll had this post. Check that. God, sorry, I have too many tabs open. This post from Mike Sando highlighting how good Pete Carroll's been and how bad the Raiders have been. Pretty sad. But really, Pete Carroll showing up to interview for this gig and taking this gig is a huge win for the Raiders. Especially after, as Mark Davis said, the NFL cut off John Gruden's head for emails that he had sent to Bruce Allen. It's been a rough last couple of years for the Raiders. Pete Carroll has 181 career NFL wins, some with the Jets, some with the Patriots. My first ever football game was Pete Carroll's first win as head coach of the New York Jets, 41-7 over the Chargers on August 31st, 1997. Pete Carroll has 181 NFL wins. That's as many wins as the last 14 Raiders coach combined have had. Antonio Pierce had 9. Josh McDaniels had 9. Rich Bisaccia had 7. John Gruden had 22. Jack Del Rio had 25. Tony Sparano had 3. Dennis Allen, 8. Hugh Jackson, 8. Tom Cable, 17. Lane Kiffin, 5. Art Shell, 2. Norv Turner, 9. Bill Callahan, 17. And then before that, John Gruden, 40. That's insane. I don't know that Carroll's going to turn the Raiders around right away. In fact, I wonder, given that he is 73 years old, he has a ton of energy at age 73. He had a ton of energy when I was interviewing him a couple of years ago on a weekly basis when I was working at the Seattle Seahawks flagship station. I don't know that he's going to be here by the time the Raiders find a quarterback. If they stumble into one, good luck, because people love playing for Pete Carroll. Relentless positivity. It's kind of annoying. Sometimes it does rub players the wrong way, but this is a guy who doesn't throw his players under the bus, with words at least. This is a guy who I really enjoyed covering when I was up in Seattle, and clearly things got stale after a certain point. They forced him out, but I think this is going to be a lot of fun for the Raiders. This is the most competence that they've had in their organization in a really long time. So yes, Pete Carroll is on the Mount Rushmore of the Las Vegas Raiders for this century. Didn't take much to get there. It's him. It's John Gruden. It's Rich Gannon. I guess it's Charles Woodson. Woof. Anyway, there was a fun moment at Pete Carroll's introductory press conference featuring a player that at one time he was at odds with.
I know that we have a good draw for people from out of town. There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Mark, settle down a little bit.
He's talking about Marshawn Lynch, who he did not know was going to be showing up for that introductory press conference for the Las Vegas Raiders. A fun moment. Marshawn Lynch is a goofball. I guess he's like trying some acting now. Lynch and Pete Carroll famously disagreed over the end of Super Bowl 49, where the Seahawks, instead of handing the football off to Marshawn Lynch on the goal line, decided to throw a pass that ended up getting intercepted by Malcolm Butler. And they were at odds about that for a while. But what was really interesting, at the end of the 2019 season, the Seahawks were really good in the first half. Second half, things started to fall apart. This is my first year covering the Seahawks up there. At the end of the year, they signed Marshawn Lynch, and it was almost like they did it entirely for a morale boost. And they had a chance the last game of the year to win the NFC West if they beat the San Francisco 49ers. And they had the ball in a goal-to-go situation. And Marshawn Lynch, who was back with the Seahawks, slowly trots onto the field like it's a sports movie. As he slowly runs onto the field. And I mean, he really slowly ran onto the field. And ultimately, I'm not kidding you, the Seahawks, and this happened a lot with Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, the Seahawks got called for a delay of game and they were unable to score a touchdown. Oh, that was rough. Because it was at the time, CenturyLink Field, now Lumen Field in Seattle. Everyone's losing their shit. And Lynch is so slow getting onto the field that eventually a delay of game gets called. And then the Seahawks lose. But it was fun that he came back into the fold, and clearly Marshawn has repaired the bridge with Pete Carroll. Even Russell Wilson's repaired his relationship with Pete Carroll. And now all of a sudden, I saw this courtesy of James Palmer, formerly of the NFL Network, now at Underdog Sports, saying that Russell Wilson, pending free agent quarterback, reuniting with Pete Carroll is a real possibility. I bet that Russell Wilson's agent, though, Mark Rogers, put that out there. For those who don't remember, there was a time in Seattle, and I used to get in arguments with the late John Clayton of ESPN, who would come on our show every single morning at 7:15 about Russell Wilson and all these weird, bizarre trade requests that Russell Wilson was making without actually making them. He had this that came out on February 25th, 2021 from Adam Schefter at 1:28 p.m. Russell Wilson has told the Seahawks he wants to play in Seattle, but if a trade were considered, the only teams he would go to are the Cowboys, Saints, Raiders, and Bears, his agent Mark Rogers said to ESPN. It was ridiculous when it happened. But now apparently he wants to get back into the fold. And Pete Carroll, when asked about that, said it's too early to say if we'd consider Russell Wilson. I like that he said that. I think he will politely decline, but we have seen crazier reunions before when it comes to Pete Carroll. This is, though, the best part about the new Pete Carroll era. I like Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was the head coach of the Patriots for my first ever football game at Foxborough Stadium. They never had a losing season. Belichick comes in the next year. Tom Brady gets drafted that same year. The next year, Brady steps in. Week 2 against the Jets. I was there. His first game after 9/11. Told my dad, fucking season's over. Brady and the Patriots ultimately go on to win the Super Bowl. And now Brady is a major voice in the Raiders organization, despite only being a minority owner. Here is Pete Carroll talking about using Tom Brady's voice.
It's one of a kind. And he's assembled a group to support us. I know that John and I have just been knocked out by ownership that is one of a kind. And even Durbin is part of this. Michael Milton is part of this. Tom Wagner is part of this. But when Mark figured out how valuable it would be to put Tom Brady in this mix, and bring that kind of football background and history, Mark made a great move, and it's our job to celebrate that for Mark and to make sure that this comes to life the way it can, with great possibilities and great future and the immediate future as well. So my hat's off to you guys. I'm so fired up that we're doing this together, and it's going to be unique, and they're going to be surprised what comes.
Hell yeah. Pete Carroll, Tom Brady. I might buy a Raiders jersey or some sort of Raiders gear. And I really love that all of a sudden the Raiders, who were victimized by the Tuck rule in that Patriots-Raiders playoff game back in the day, like now Tom Brady is a part owner of the team, and they are entirely dependent on him to turn shit around. But Pete Carroll helping things out, it's a good first step to take if you're the Raiders and you've been a mess for a fucking while. Taking a drink from my Stanley. Let's continue. NFL head coaching introductory press conference, Superlatives. Most likely to have their fan base waiting for their owner to die. That belongs to the Dallas Cowboys, who introduced Brian Schottenheimer to the world early this week. Congratulations. True story. On Saturday, while hanging out with a couple of my friends who are very rational, jaded, bummed out Cowboys fans, they said of the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer, yeah, we're waiting for Jerry Jones to die. Respectfully, of course. Politely, of course. This is a very underwhelming hire. You got to sell your fan base some sort of hope. And even if Brian Schottenheimer ends up being a good head coach, considering that offseason interest in the Cowboys has waned the last year after they got smoked by the Packers in the playoffs, like the attendance was down for all of their offseason programs. You know, Oxnard, California, where they go out every single year. It didn't go so well out there. Cowboys fans wish that whatever head coach was introduced, these quotes that you'll hear from Brian Schottenheimer, or say it was any other head coach, all you would want to hear as a Cowboys fan is some version of this. This is both Brian Schottenheimer and Jerry Jones talking about what's next.
We're going to win, and we're going to win a championship. Otherwise, why are we doing it? I'm really good with X's and O's, but I'm great with people. And the type of men that we have in this locker room are excited about that.
I know how much our fans are into the Dallas Cowboys. They're interested, I'm interested in getting to those playoffs and winning. This is the best way that we can go to the playoffs and win.
The best way? I mean, for a moment, I heard a little bit of hope there for Dallas Cowboys fans. But this? Woof. The press conference, you'd want it to be about Brian Schottenheimer talking about getting the Cowboys a Lombardi trophy for the first time since the 1995-1996 season. Yeah. Next year's Super Bowl will officially be 30 years since the last Cowboys title. Like we're at Super Bowl licks now. Licks. You know? Not good. Cowboys fans wish that's what they were talking about, though. Some coach giving some cliche answer about we're going to win some Super Bowls. Instead, they're talking about this clip from Jerry Jones, who I think has to be aware by this point of what people think he's saying when he says this specific term.
There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes. Very low percentage.
Oh, boy. He had to bring up glory holes again, huh? Maybe he knew the press conference bombed, that no one's excited about Brian Schottenheimer. So I'm going to give everybody a funny. Everybody gets a funny. Here's more from Jerry Jones at the introductory press conference that was not about Brian Schottenheimer as much it was about Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones low-key throwing Brian Schottenheimer and his resume under the bus right away.
Now, I get my proverbial ass kicked over needing people in my comfort zone. Without this thing being about me in any way, if you don't think I can't operate out of my comfort zone, you're so wrong. It's unbelievable. This is as big a risk as you could take.
Notice the pause after that. Why are you saying that? Why would you say that, Jerry?
As big a risk as you could take.
Do you want a risk? No, you want a really good hire. More Jerry Jones.
No head coaching experience. That let me share something with you.
God, old people do this a lot, don't they? Nothing against the olds out there, but let me tell you this. Let me tell you that. How about just tell me, dude? I don't need the dramatic pause. This isn't a TV show. This isn't you and your guest spot on The Landman. Haven't gotten to that point on the Paramount Plus series.
With all of that, you've just heard him reference his osmosis, his family. Anybody in this room that doesn't believe the apple doesn't go far from the tree has missed it someplace down the road, especially if there was an effort to make it that way, and there was an effort. But then you go around to the countless numbers of coaches that Schotty has served on staff with and been around, the countless players. How often do you have someone that has 25, I'm going to say 25, it may be 26.
Doesn't know the years he's been coaching. Good God, Jerry.
Of years of working through the human relationship and working, aspiring to learn, of have his ears and eyes wide open and looking for techniques and looking for things that make coaches better.
I feel for you Cowboys fans. This just sucks. We're not done hearing Jerry Jones do Jerry Jones things, though this is new, unless you've watched that Landman show recently. Here is Jerry Jones actually tearing up.
So I've seen it when I was a pup. I have a good background in the makeup of what a coach is. To think that you could make a decision in an interview and not have talked, if you didn't and hadn't ever communicated or had a visit I wouldn't dare have had an interview unless I talked to many, many people.
Oh, God. And in Jerry's defense, he actually did talk to people. When I was in Seattle, the last question I ever asked Pete Carroll at the Monday interviews that we would do after a Seahawks game, the season came to an end, playoff loss in L.A. I asked Pete Carroll about the future of offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, and Pete told me, straight to my face, yeah, we plan on having Brian Schottenheimer back next year. Schottenheimer was fired later that afternoon. So that didn't age so well. But guess what? Pete Carroll, he got a phone call from Jerry Jones. That phone call, though, it seems, was not about whether or not he'd want to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It was about none other than Brian Schottenheimer.
I called Pete Carroll to talk about Schotty. Why did y'all split up? Why'd you fire Schotty if you fired him? How'd that happen? So we got into that real good, because Schotty has been effusive about the impact of not only his father, but Pete and the people that have shaped him along the way. But it's kind of interesting. Old Will and his staff, they go to the next door neighbors of these players that we're drafting or look at drafting and get that next door neighbor to talk about them at that time. Boy, you need to do that when you're dealing with a head coach. Now, I didn't have to go to the next door neighbor with Jimmy. I didn't have to go to the next door neighbor with Barry. But, man, I've been to this guy's next door neighbor personally. And I like our shot with Schotty.
God damn it. He was waiting to deliver that all fucking press conference. I'm just going to do a replay here. Look at Schottenheimer's face. It's like he hears that just god fucking awful pun. The only thing that was missing was this. Look at his face. He's just like, yep. Fucking De Niro nod. Let's do it one more time and add in the Horatio Caine at the very end.
And I like our shot with Schotty.
Woof. But that's the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You'll notice Stephen Jones over to the left wearing a very fancy pair of transition sunglasses. When Stephen Jones was introduced, no one clapped. I think Jerry got some claps. Stephen did not. And Stephen, by all accounts, was best case scenario, blissfully unaware of what this means. Air quotation marks. Worst case scenario, he thinks all of the people that have been criticizing the Cowboys for not having won a Super Bowl despite all that money and all that prestige since 1996 are fucking idiots. Like, that's generally the way he came off over the course of that press conference, doing this over and over again. Here is Stephen Jones.
Obviously, we're also evaluating where it didn't go right, in terms of, this drought that people say we're in.
This drought that people say we're... Dude, it's a fucking drought. Like, you might have had some winning seasons, but you haven't won a Super Bowl since 1996, and you're the most valuable franchise in the NFL. It's not like there's been a Tom Brady keeping you from getting to the promised land for all this time in the NFC East. Like, there's been 2 Eli Manning Super Bowls. There's been 2 Eagles Super Bowl appearances. The Commanders, until this year, have largely sucked. And you haven't even made it to the NFC Championship game in forever. Drought? And you're going to say that in quotation marks? Like, what the fuck, man? And I get it. Like, daddy owns the team. You're going to inherit the team. But I don't know how you can be that tone deaf if you're Stephen Jones or anyone in the Cowboys organization, unless you just know that your fans will keep coming back for more and more. And listen, that is a big problem with NFL fans. They put up with a lot. Just take a look at the Jets. Like at this point, when you're doing the same low-grade crack over and over again, which is what being a Jets fan, I would imagine, is like, being addicted to crack, you would think that at some point you would say, you know what? No, I need to find the light. And that just hasn't happened. Here is the next press conference that we will discuss. Check that. There's one last note I had to get in here. This is the problem when you put too many notes in your rundown. Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated, I thought, had a great column. I encourage you to read it. In said article, he wrote, in hiring Brian Schottenheimer, the Dallas Cowboys aren't even trying to sell hope like other self-respecting NFL franchises. The Jones family had an affinity for Dan Quinn, allowed him to walk, and watched as Quinn roared to the NFC Championship game with the Washington Commanders. They played chicken with Mike McCarthy at the bargaining table and lost him too, only to feign interest in Deion Sanders for publicity's sake and hire McCarthy's offensive coordinator who was there all along. There was no risk of losing Schottenheimer to another head coaching job. They didn't even bother to wait out conference championship weekend to interview Bobby Babich, Joe Brady, Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore, Steve Spagnuolo, Matt Nagy, Cliff Kingsbury, or Joe Witt Jr., which would have represented an encouraging choice in the search process, writes Orr. Yeah, they hired Schottenheimer Friday night. I think it was 8:53 Central Time. Continues Orr, you should be mad because Dallas has interviewed 6 candidates for what the Jones family bills as the largest and most important sports franchise in the world. Other teams, the Jets, the Bears, nearly hit 20 candidates. And by the way, I think the Jets and Bears are happy with who they hired. They didn't interview Brian Flores, Liam Coen, Aaron Glenn, who's a Cowboy from the past, from Humboldt. They did not interview Todd Monken, who helped Lamar Jackson have the season he had. Didn't interview Cliff Kingsbury, a Texas native responsible for the best quarterback coaching job of the season, Jaden Daniels. They had Bill Belichick fawning over them on television a year ago and watched as he took a job at the University of North Carolina. And the publicity stunt with Deion Sanders got him listed as an official candidate, but the search was a farce in the eyes of Orr. Jerry Jones, the league's great showman, the orchestrator of all media attention, was so excited about this hire that he allowed the news to drop at 10 p.m. Eastern time on a Friday night when most of the people who would care are either out enjoying their night or asleep on the couch. But like we said, it's time to wake up. If there was any last Cowboys fan among you standing who believed this ownership group was interested in fielding the best team possible, that owner just told you exactly what he thought of you. Bravo. Bravo. Bravo? That's not a word. Bravo. Largo is funny on Twitch comments. The Cowboys have been to the conference championship game more recently than the Texans, Paulie. Yeah, but what does that matter? Like, I don't give a shit about that. I'm a Patriots fan. The fact that the Cowboys have been around since 1995 without a Super Bowl appearance, without a conference championship appearance, and the Texans, who came into existence in 2002, are on the same level, kind of goes to show you where the Cowboys are relative to the rest of the NFL, let alone the rest of their state. Continuing our superlatives for NFL head coaching hires and the press conferences that took place afterwards. Here is Liam Coen, Jacksonville Jaguars, who helped the Jaguars earn the coveted superlative of most likely to literally be Jack Easterby in a Mission Impossible mask. This is the moment that everybody is shitting on. Duval. I mean, he's smiling when he says it. Duval. I think he's got pretty good command of his eyebrows. Just notice that as he does this, Duval. First, he raises just his left eyebrow. Then he raises his second eyebrow. And then he starts smirking. It's a little goofy. Does that mean he's going to be a bad coach? A lot of people think that. They, like the Houston Texans, have an acronym. Texans Swarm! SWARM means special work ethic and relentless mindset. Forget about the E. It's silent, or it's just forgotten. And the Jaguars did something similar. The Jaguars have an acronym called FAST. Here is Liam Coen at his introductory press conference explaining that.
It takes complementary football at all three phases to be great. Offense, defense, and special teams. How do we want to play the game? And that's fast. Fundamentally sound, attacking, situational masters, and tough, both mentally and physically.
Okay, let's hear that one more time. Does that actually add up?
How do we want to play the game? And that's fast. Fundamentally sound.
Wait, so F is actually FS.
Attacking.
FSA.
Situational masters.
FSA SM.
And tough.
T. Okay, that doesn't add up to fast, but hey, the Texans kind of cheated as well. More Liam Coen explaining fast.
Both mentally and physically.
Oh, wait, hang on.
You see players in the room right here.
Nope, we got to go back. Damn it. This is difficult. I'm going to have to write this down. Here is Liam Coen one more time explaining fast.
How do we want to play the game? And that's fast. Fundamentally sound, attacking, situational masters, and tough, both mentally and physically. You see players in the room right here, guys that I've had conversations with already. It will always be about you. Always.
And my acronym.
It is players over plays. How do we make this as much about the players and making this about bringing out the best in you? That's what this is about.
So I added it up using a keyboard. Fast is fundamentally sound, so it should be FS, attacking, FSA, situational masters, FSASM, tough, T, both mentally and physically, which they're adding in at the end. So do you put another M at the beginning? Or do you say BM? These guys are adults that play in the NFL. I know some of them are young. A guy comes up to you and tries to explain how you're going to play with a fucking acronym, and the acronym doesn't even add up to the amount of words you're using to explain it. 4 letters for 6 words. I don't know. I think some people are going to look at him and think that he gives off Jack Easterby vibes. Speaking of, here is Jack. Nope, it's not Jack Easterby. Could be Jack Easterby in a Mission Impossible mask. But here is Liam Coen, new head coach of the New York Jets, explaining how honesty is the best policy.
And that's really what this is going to come down to, is honesty. I want to surround ourselves with people that are going to be able to tell you hard truths, be able to show you your blind spots, because that's really, like I mentioned, where growth occurs, when you can truly be yourself and be honest with looking in the mirror, knowing that process to get you there was clean and it was right, and the results will speak for themselves.
Okay. Well, when you hear that and then you know about his backstory, he does kind of seem full of shit, right? Because the Bucs gave him an extension to make him the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. And Coen, who met with the Jaguars, didn't want Trent Baalke running the show. But when Baalke got fired, the Bucs, they were wondering what was up because Liam Coen went off the grid. He took a while to get back to them because one of his kids was ill. And apparently he's done that before, because before the wild card game against Washington, Liam Coen was asked in a press conference if he wanted to be a head coach because his name was linked to Jacksonville. He said his new child was under the weather. Check that. He said his child was under the weather and he didn't have time to think about a new gig. So he's used this a couple of times just in the last couple of weeks. say like, hey, my kid's sick. Now, maybe the kid was sick the whole way through. I don't know. I think some Bucs fans are getting in their feelings about this because he left. But ultimately, Liam Cohen's wife posted on X the following, saying, I hate that I even have to say this, but when people are negative about my kids, I will not be silent. Our son is sick. We were at the hospital yesterday seeing a specialist for his autoimmune disease. Please don't spread misinformation and assume because you heard one side. I do think Bucs fans were being a little bit bitter. But at the same time, he was with the Rams for a few seasons as their assistant wide receivers coach, then assistant quarterback coach. He left them for Kentucky in 2021. 2022, he went back to the Rams to be their offensive coordinator. 2023, he went back to Kentucky for the same role he had previously with the promise to not abandon them so quickly again. And this past year, he was the offensive coordinator for the Bucs. Listen, follow your job. Don't have loyalty towards a corporation. They're not going to have any loyalty to you, especially in the NFL. But he's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And his second stint in Kentucky, when he first got there, he said, hopefully now I'm going to have a chance to plant some roots here. He said that during his press conference yesterday. So that's the Liam Coen story, but fear not, Jaguars fans. At the very least, two of the most influential voices in sports, they like what the Jags did.
Hey, it's Big Boom AJ.
Big Justice.
And we're here at Daly's place in Jacksonville, Florida. And the Jaguars just hired Liam Coen as their new head coach.
Look at them. They're not even burnt out by all of this.
The Jacksonville Jaguars get 5 big booms.
Boom, 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 boom.
How could you be so excited about everything? And again, they're getting paid, I'm sure, a big amount of money because Tony Khan is the son of Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He owns AEW. And AJ and Big Justice, the Costco guys, they were on that. They actually did pretty well. But nothing is going to beat the Costco guys cameo for this is a cameo that they did. I'm sorry. This is like,
Oh, we're so sorry.
This is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, we're so sorry.
I just had to look it up.
We're so sorry to hear about.
Hang on a second. Sorry.
We're so sorry.
TikTok doesn't exactly do the best autoplay feature, but anyway, here are the Costco guys giving somebody condolences after their brother passed away.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom, 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 boom. Oh,
5 big booms for Liam Coen as the new head coach of the Jaguars. 5 big booms for that family's dead brother. We're not done with superlatives. I want to go back a couple of weeks to a press conference that the only team without a head coach had. The New Orleans Saints win most likely to none of this fucking matters. You're so in debt because of the guy we're about to show. You're fucked. It's over. Mickey Loomis is the general manager of the New Orleans Saints, and goddamn Saints fans, I feel for you. I know there have been some good years with Mickey Loomis. He's been running the show since 2002. They had the Aaron Brooks season where they won the NFC West over at the time, I think it was the defending Super Bowl champion Rams. And then, of course, you had the Drew Brees, Sean Payton era. But Loomis has been GM since 2002. Like, we're getting closer to 25 years. At a certain point, you lose your fastball. And Loomis is 69 years old. And, oh boy, guys, some of the things that he was saying at his press conference a couple of weeks ago are going to have Saints fans so pissed off. If you haven't seen this already, here is Mickey Loomis talking about where he's most comfortable.
I mean, we've got the most players under contract of any team. Yes, we're over, but there's a lot of teams below us that have, we've got 61 players under contract right now.
He's bragging about the amount of players that the Saints have under contract when they're like $100 million over the salary cap per a lot of those salary cap websites. I think there are ways to navigate around that. I don't see how the Saints do it. Seemed like they did it last offseason.
And there's teams that have cap room, but they've got 38 or 36. So it's a collective. How much guaranteed is out there? How much is the acceleration that exists? Who are the players they have under contract? There's so many elements. I'm pretty comfortable with where we're at. I'm comfortably uncomfortable.
Oh, my God. If you're a Saints fan, that last part.
I'm comfortably uncomfortable.
That laugh.
I'm comfortably uncomfortable.
He made it funny. And okay, I get it. Louisianans, there's a stereotype, perhaps not the best with their money, but to hear Mickey Loomis say that, like, how does that not just piss you the fuck off? And that's not the only moment where you can tell just how comfortable Mickey Loomis is. He is more than comfortably uncomfortable. He is just straight comfortable. He's had this job since 2002. And of course, when you have had a job this long, you're going to feel comfortable enough to have this kind of a friendly, kind of confrontational back and forth with whoever this Saints reporter is.
We've asked you before about, and you kiddingly say you're trying to run us off, run me off. I mean, you considered retirement ever? I mean, is that something ever? What keeps you going then?
Look, I got a passion for. I've got a passion for the sport. I got a passion for the Saints. I got a passion for all of it. I feel like, look, I've got all my faculties here. The only nobody would ask me that question if I wasn't 68, right? They wouldn't ask me the question. Listen, you want to go out and challenge me to something? I'm ready to take you on, Jeff. Let's go.
Did they just talk about a fight?
Not a fight. I'm not talking about that. I'm never been a great fighter, but if you want to play me golf, you want to play, if I ever felt like my acumen or my ability to think and ability to do the things necessary in this job were waning, I'd be the first guy to say, hey, wait a minute. So no, retirement's not on my mind.
Comfortably uncomfortable. Or uncomfortably comfortable, whatever the case. God damn. If you're a Saints fan and you're hearing that, he's 69. He doesn't think anything's slipping. The salary cap situation's a mess. Like, honestly, what happens when you slip if this is where you're at right now? He also talked about results, and the results for the Saints over the last couple of years, it hasn't been good. Everyone knows this, but and I'm mad at myself for watching the entirety of this 45-minute press conference looking for this specific moment. But Jesus Christ. Here's Mickey Loomis saying something that no football coach should ever say.
I understand that, look, the results are the results, and you can't ignore the results. But you also have to look beyond the results sometimes and understand the reasons behind the symptoms. And some are in our control, some aren't. All the things that contribute to a successful program, you have to evaluate and make sure that it doesn't mean, by the way, because the results aren't what we want doesn't mean that we're doing something wrong.
Bro. Comfortable being uncomfortable with the salary cap situation is one thing. But what did he say at the very end there?
Results aren't what we want doesn't mean that we're doing something wrong.
One more time.
The results aren't what we want doesn't mean that we're doing something wrong.
One more time. One more time.
Because the results aren't what we want doesn't mean that we're doing something wrong.
Because the results aren't what we want doesn't mean we're doing something wrong. Bro. I can't believe he said that. One more time for the people in the back.
I understand that, look, the results are the results, and you can't ignore the results. But you also have to look beyond the results sometimes and understand the reasons behind the symptoms. And some are in our control, some aren't. You know, all the things that contribute to a successful program, you have to evaluate and make sure that it doesn't mean, by the way, because the results aren't what we want, doesn't mean that we're doing something wrong.
If you're a Saints fan and you see this, you just got to be pissed. This guy's been here for life. He has no intention to retire. Clearly, he's not going to be phased out. He's comfortable being uncomfortable with their salary cap situation. And he also said, just because the results aren't what we want doesn't mean we're doing something wrong. Turf Stud says they got themselves a Joe Biden there. Largo is funny, says Mickey drank one too many hand grenades. Yeah, man. Oh, I feel for you, Saints fans, and I hope that I helped you fight the good fight to potentially get this guy out. One last segment before we hit the road. I have become a powerful ally for one of the biggest groups on the internet. I am, of course, talking about the Swifties. I had no idea about Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole. I had never heard of her. I knew he did a reality TV show called Catching Kelsey, and for all I know, he met this woman after that show. He dated this woman, Kayla Nicole, from 2017 to 2022. Some people say it was on and off. But I've seen a lot of her over the last couple of months, and I haven't been looking for her. There have been posts on Twitter, in my For You, in my Instagram, in my TikTok, and they all are about her. But it's not her saying anything that's interesting. It's just her constantly talking about her relationship with Travis Kelce. So I actually went back to try and get a timeline of this woman and all the times that she has talked about her ex, who she hasn't dated in 2 to 3 years. On the Relations with Kami Crawford podcast in October 2022, Kayla Nicole said she experienced harassment from black men who lashed out after she posted a picture with Kelce. But it sounds like things were over at that point. In September of 2023, which was the same month that Taylor Swift first attended a Chiefs game for Travis Kelce, Kayla Nicole unfollowed Brittany and Patrick Mahomes. Who gives a shit, right? Only the nerdiest of the pop culture vultures are going to notice something like that and post it on something like Deux Moi. But no, she did an interview about this. She did an interview explaining that she unfollowed Brittany and Patrick Mahomes, even though she was one of Brittany's bridesmaids, in People magazine. What the fuck? Here's a quote from it. The reality is I know these people in real life. And so in real life, I've communicated to these people who I've had to publicly make the decisions that I made. Hey, I understand unfollowing people. Like, I do that from time to time. I block people. Then I unblock them because I'm crazy. And I go back and I act like nothing happened because I'm a bit of a drama queen. We all do what we got to do. But blocking people does help you try to forget somebody. But to do an interview with People magazine about it, is that trying to cut this person out of your life, or is that trying to get some publicity out of a relationship that's no longer happening? October 10th of this past year. This is where I first noticed Kayla Nicole and many stories about her former relationship with Travis Kelce, which at this point, it's been 2+ years. Nicole said social media users leave disparaging comments on her page, and those remarks have impacted on her. Angel Reese asked her, do you think that because of who he started to date, the negativity from her fan club or her fans has affected you? Nicole said, I would be lying if I said the level of hate and online chaos doesn't impact me. It does, even to this day. Does it really? You're a social media influencer that has hundreds of thousands of followers. I imagine you don't have to work very hard for money. I imagine you get all sorts of gigs on the regular because you're attractive and you have huge social media followings. So people are interested in you. And that means you're going to get on reality shows. That means you're going to get interviews from time to time. You're going to get advertisement deals. You live a great life. You can't deal with all that negativity online. Just remove yourself. All you got to do if you're someone like her is post. You don't need to interact with the comments. Just post shit. This isn't me saying go to OnlyFans. I'm saying just post stuff. Does it have to always be about Travis Kelce? And I suppose maybe that is something that you got to do. The game is the game. That's why you're relevant. More from Kayla Nicole talking about Travis Kelce on Angel Reese's podcast. Jesus, I want to throw myself off a bridge. We haven't even gotten to my viral clip. Nicole said on Angel Reese's podcast that her relationships with some of the wives and girlfriends of Chiefs players has changed since she and Kelce broke up. You don't fucking say. Wait a second. Your relationship with Travis Kelce's teammates' wives changed after you stopped dating him? Whoa. What? How dare they? How dare they phase you out? They should have invited you with Taylor Swift to everything that they do going forward. Said Kayla Nicole of them when asked by Angel Reese if they're not friends anymore. We were cool. We are not as cool as we were before. That was like family. Huh? It was like family. You unfollowed Patrick and Brittany Mahomes like a year before. So, of course, they're going to freeze you out. But you got to keep getting those interviews. And you got to keep playing the victim. And you got to keep talking about that ex who is now dating the most famous person in the world. Here's more. She did a month later another interview. And through sources claim that Kayla Nicole believes Swift's presence has shifted dynamics within the Chiefs' wives and girlfriends group, resulting in her feeling distanced from her once close friends. Yeah, that's generally how things work. You're not a wife or girlfriend. So if there's going to be social settings that everyone hangs out in, you're not going to get invited. Last week, she was on the I Am Athlete podcast, and I was doing this segment on 97.5 and 92.5 ESPN Houston as well. Gallant and George radio show, noon to 3, every weekday, where she was asked about what she wants to see happen in the Super Bowl. And here's what she had to say. As much as I'd love to see Josh Allen pull it off, I don't know if that's happening again. I'm bored of the Chiefs. I'm rooting for the Bills. Is that why she's rooting for the Bills? Probably not. But my God, she puts herself in situations where she's regularly getting asked about Travis Kelce. And the I Am Athlete podcast, what if someone asks you to come on a big podcast like that? Are you going to say no? I don't know. But the reason they're bringing her on is because she used to date Travis Kelce. And I saw that after having seen a couple of those headlines that I had listed, and I went nuclear. Here is the most viral post that I have ever put on social media with, let's see. It's got 155.3 thousand views. And if you're watching along right now, here it is. This is my little rant about Kayla Nicole. Travis Kelce's ex, who won't shut the up, she decided to weigh in on this too, and she hopes that he loses. No one cares. Shut up. No one cares. Go to irrelevance. You do not matter anymore. You lost it, okay? I'm rooting for Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift entirely because I am sick of hearing this lady talk. Shut up. Wow, I need a podcast title. My God, you're less original than Meghan Markle, and that's saying something. That woman's outside making cupcakes in Los Angeles while the whole country's roasting.
You really hate that chick, man.
Yeah.
It's every week. I can't get away from it. Just shut up. No one cares. You're not dating him anymore. Oh, I hope he loses. Well, I bet he doesn't care. Travis Kelce's ex. So there you go. That's the rant. Look at the comments here. I'm just going to scroll down. Like they just don't stop. And everyone's saying, yes, Queen. Yes. Yes. Yes, Queen. Yes. 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 Again, I'm still scrolling. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Someone said a white person can't say this. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. I agreed until you brought Megan into this. She's not making cupcakes in LA. Like, what, dude? She anonymously has been helping LA. She did a fucking reality TV show about that. What are you fucking talking about? Meghan Markle, what has she ever done that's anonymous? Jesus Christ. Fuck off. Person that doesn't even have a screen name. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Still scrolling. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Why are you yelling though? That's how I talk. Yes, yes. I'm a radio broadcaster and I yell yes. Why is this boy yelling? Yes, 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 yes. Again, I'm still scrolling. Yes, yes. So there you go. I think I finally got to the bottom. She talks a lot. And look, the game is the game. Punch that meal ticket. There's also a Reddit thread too. It got closed. Look at this. This is insane. I can't believe how many people are talking about some random rant that I had that I did not think was going to get much. I thought it might get a little bit because I'm definitely pandering to the Swifties here. But Jesus, this is insane. So I thought to myself, maybe I need to do a little background research on Kayla Nicole. And don't worry, we're almost done. This episode's gone way too long. I put a lot of prep into it. Appreciate y'all sticking around. Did you know that Kayla Nicole graduated from Pepperdine University with a degree in broadcast journalism? Oh. Because some people that were commenting were saying, she's actually a sports journalist. So when she talks about Travis Kelce and Chiefs Bills, like, she's kind of an expert. No, she's not. sharing a video on Instagram in 2018, reporting in a Lakers jersey from the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Reporting in a Lakers jersey. You're not a fucking reporter. You're not. You're not a sports journalist. You're a pretty person. Prettier than me. The people like looking at, so you're going to be an in-stadium host. That's not being a fucking journalist. It's not. I know a lot of people who do that want to become journalists. That's not being a journalist. Kayla Nicole has been an on-air reporter. These are more fun facts about her because some people are claiming she's a sports journalist. Since graduating from Pepperdine, Nicole originally made a name for herself as a sports broadcaster and has reported from the sidelines of NBA and NFL games. Oh, on CBS, on Fox? Fuck no, that hasn't happened. TNT? Any local basketball broadcast? What are you talking about? More from Kayla Nicole, who graduated from Pepperdine and made a name for herself as a sports broadcaster. Here's some examples of her sports broadcasting. Tough! Kayla wrote over a Super Bowl 2025 graphic showing Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts and Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Damn, that's riveting. Maybe she needs a chance to be a sports journalist. It'll be a storybook ending either way on February 9th, Kayla wrote, referring to the Super Bowl 2025 post and another post after the AFC Championship game. And as a fan of the game, that's really all you can ask for. You said absolutely fucking nothing. Sports journalist, though. She does have a reel of her broadcasting ability, in case you haven't seen it.
What's up, guys?
Anyone want to watch it? Let's see if she actually has done any sports journalism.
Guys, it's that girl, Kayla Nicole, and you are tuned into XO Nicole. Tonight, we're in the heart of New York City at the 6th annual Ween Awards.
The Ween Awards! The Ween Awards! I don't know what the Ween Awards are. Hang on a second. Let's look up. What are the Ween Awards? The Ween Awards. What? Okay, I should be able to look up the Ween Awards and actually get something. The Ween Awards? The Ween Awards are an annual event that honor women in entertainment who raise awareness and empower other women. Okay. Well, that's strong, powerful, and independent. More. Talking Ween.
Stands for Women.
Ween. You shouldn't. I don't know how this just hit me. You can't have an award that celebrates women, an award show that celebrates women called Ween. Wiener.
An Entertainment Empowerment Network, and that is the exact mission tonight. We are empowering women all over the world and honoring the movers and the shakers of the entertainment industry.
Okay, how?
Tonight we're on the red carpet catching up with all of the honorees. You're not going to want to miss this.
I don't know that I want to stay, but I'll keep watching.
All right, I did my research. You both have kids.
Yeah.
Now, in this film, I believe you say, it was your line, that as parents, we can lie because that's what parents do. Right?
Wow. You know what? I got to say that I've never interviewed Will Ferrell or Amy Poehler for the movie The House. The most famous person I've interviewed, probably Pete Carroll. So she does have that on me. This isn't sports journalism. This is a form of journalism, though. Entertainment news.
The biggest lie you guys have told your kids for the sake of their well-being.
What's up, guys? I'm Kayla.
I didn't hear the answer. So they're just showing her asking the question. Okay, this is her resume reel, but she's just asking the question. I want to hear the answer. I want to hear if they gave a good answer. I want to hear if you had a follow-up.
And welcome back to Lakers TV. Now, as we mentioned before, tonight is all about...
Okay, she did Lakers TV. That's not bad.
Kobe Bryant. In fact, during halftime, you're not going to want to leave your seats because not one, but both of Kobe's jerseys will be retired to their rightful place alongside the other Lakers legends.
Okay, so a lot of the sports journalism is basically her saying, you're not going to want to move. You're not going to want to miss this. Okay. You got to work on the teases a little bit.
It will truly be a night to remember.
Didn't she say that already about the Ween Awards? It'll be a night to remember.
Coming up next on Lakers TV, we'll take a look back at the incredible career of Kobe Bryant. Check it out.
You
All
won't
right, Jason,
miss
you
this.
play Frank in this film.
Okay, so she just did a lot of interviews as well for The House. Is that Rafi from the league? That is Rafi from the league. All right, that's cool.
I feel like in the social media area, it's so easy to stalk your ex.
That is a good point. Actually, that's a good point. I want to hear a podcast on that.
So I want to know, have you ever been the stage 5 clinger ex-boyfriend?
Ooh, stage 5 clinger. But what the hell?
Roses
I
are
want
red,
the answer.
violets are blue. Valentine's Day sucks, and talking about it does too. Okay, guys, I'm your host, that girl, Caitlin.
You know what? I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
And you are watching Word on the Street today. We are in the middle of Hollywood talking about the one.
Again, I got to admit, she's probably done more with her career than I have, and this low-key does make me want to off myself just a little bit. I haven't gotten to do the Ween Awards yet.
Only day of love. All right.
Okay, she didn't need to put that in there though. That was a little unprofessional.
Welcome back to Lakers TV. I hope you enjoyed seeing-
Okay, listen. So she's done Lakers TV. I don't think she has been a sideline reporter. She has been an in-stadium host. That's not a sports journalist, which a lot of her supporters in the old mentions have been calling her. And I also hear that she's on a TV show now. She's on a TV show called Special Forces. So here she is talking about the challenges of this reality TV show.
Wait, who's your ex?
Oh my God! It always goes back to Travis. It always goes back to Travis. Listen, the game is the game. You got to get those clicks. You got to get those hits. But good God, lady. I'd like a little more range. Let's keep watching this. This is an interview that she's doing with E! News for Special Forces.
Travis Kelce's ex, Kayla Nicole, breaks down about her and the NFL star's split in a promo for Season 3 of Special Forces World's Toughest Test.
Okay, I thought this was the actual promo. Classic E! News turning a promo into a story. So let's see if we can find... Ooh, she's crying. Oh, boy.
In the sneak peek, Kayla, along with other celebs, including Brody Jenner and Denise Richards, are thrown into the brutal world of military training.
I had an incredible mother. Father, Bruce, at the time, wasn't...
Shut up, Brody. I don't care. I don't care about you. We are here for Kayla Nicole. Ooh, here we go. Okay, so it doesn't say she's a sports journalist here. It says she's an influencer and model.
Breakup, it's been overwhelming. Wait, who's your ex?
Of course, it's a reality TV show. They got to find a subplot. That's the most interesting thing about her.
I freeze. Going through a public breakup, it's been overwhelming. Wait, who's your ex?
I like how she whispers it, but she's mic'd up.
You are here to prove you have so...
Okay, is that it? Do we have anything else? Some more Kayla Nicole? Oh, that's it. Jesus Christ, E! News. And now this is the interview that she did with Angel Reese. Okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I broke this down. Hey, all the Swifties, I just want you guys to know, I am your ally, okay? You allied with me. I allied with you. Yes, I yell. Sorry, I'm just an enthusiastic dipshit who has a radio show and a podcast that some people check out from time to time. I appreciate your support.